Good morning, everyone. Today I'm here with Alejandro, and we're going to talk about 5 ways that you can crush it in 2019. I hope everyone is still staying on track with their New Year's resolutions. I know those things are kind of hard, to always keep going because you lack motivation sometimes, or you just fall into your daily routine, or there just might be a bad environment where you're working at that just kind of like derails all your plans. So today we're going to talk about 5 things you can do to stay on track, and not only stay on track, but actually have the best year ever and get on, start accomplishing things, start getting things done with the way you really want them to be done. There's a life that you can live, and there's a life that you are living, and you got to make a decision whether it's the one that you really want for yourself and your family, and you start to have to make these decisions that are difficult to make, these changes that are really difficult to make if you don't apply yourself. But the outcome, if you don't make these changes, are even worse. So we're going to go ahead and talk about these 5 steps in just a moment. I just wanted to let you guys know that I've been away for the last few weeks. I was in Florida at the Tony Robbins Business Mastery, and then after that I went to the Grant Cardone 10X Growth Conference, which were both amazing. I highly recommend it to anyone who can ever attend either one. They're definitely worth whatever they cost, guys. Believe me, between the networking and the information, the knowledge that you gain from these things, the motivation you get when you come back home, the ideas that you get, it's just a really great experience. So if anyone has ever attended one of these, please leave us a message and let us know what you think about it. For me, it's definitely been, I don't want to call it life-changing, but it's definitely putting me back on the right track and definitely making me think a lot bigger than I was before. Sometimes we need these things. Sometimes we get caught up too much in these daily mundane things, but we need stuff like this once in a while. All right, so if you guys haven't seen a video in a while, it's been because of that, but we're going to get back on track to do our realtor roundtables every Saturday right around this time. Unless we have something going on, we'll always try to get to it during a Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning. So first thing we're going to talk about is number 1 going to be your daily accountability or your daily sales meeting, depending whether you're an independent person or you're a team leader or you're a broker. A daily sales meeting or daily accountability meeting is super important. Yes, I know that some of you are members of a weekly or a bi-weekly accountability meeting, but guess what, guys? You have to be responsible for yourself every day, not every 2 weeks. So what I would suggest is that you start engaging people around you or a person around you who is going to be that accountability buddy or accountability person, and have a brief 5, 10 minute, 15-minute meeting every single morning. And just go over the things that you're going to do that day, what your plans are for the day, what you're not going to do, and just any feedback from the day before or what happened the day before. You need this because if you don't, we're much more likely to not do the things that we don't want to do, the uncomfortable stuff. And whatever that stuff is, make sure that gets done first thing in the morning. There's a principle that's called swallow the frog. I don't know if you guys ever heard that. You heard that expression? That swallowing the frog is like the hardest thing to do. So you do that first, and you get the rest of the day. It'll seem a lot easier in comparison to it. So you swallow the frog first thing in the morning, and you just jump on board to whatever else you got to do. If you're really highly disciplined, I tell my agents all the time, you could do so much between 9 to 12 o'clock. And you can do whatever else you want after that because you've done so much by noon that you've probably done more than 90% of the real estate agents or salespeople out there. So always try to do the most difficult things first in the morning and then jump into whatever you got cooking later on. So the week coming up right now, we're having our mastermind on Monday. I'm going to announce that to the office. We're going to start a daily sales meeting every single morning between myself and the agents who are willing to partake. It's going to be a brief 5 to 10 minute meeting every single morning, 9 o'clock. And just want to allow everyone to, voice their opinions or voice their agenda for the day, just so they can make it reality. So you can just say, listen, today I'm going to make 100 phone calls. Today I'm going to make sure I knock on 10 doors. Today I'm going to do this. So at least that you have someone to speak with. And not only that, but you need that daily person to stay on top of you to make sure that you are going to do those things, because if you know that you're responsible for it because you've got this accountability group or accountability person, you're much more likely to do it. So that's important. I think that's going to really be a game changer for us. As long as I am going to be running the sales meetings, I'm going to make sure that you guys are going to do what you have to do and what you want to do. So that's number one. Number two, I wanted to talk to you guys about is now that you've got your accountability person and you've got your accountability sales meeting, what do you do with that? Next thing you should be doing is finding a nice place where you're not distracted, a place where no one is going to be sitting in front of you or talking to you about their weekend or talking to you about gossip. Find a place where you're going to be just in the zone. So whether that is in a private room or even a off-site location or just somewhere where people know that, hey, listen, he's off limits right now, or just maybe even buy a t-shirt and put it on that says, do not bother me, I am working right now. Like whatever you got to do, get yourself a sign for your office and hang it outside that says, busy right now, making money, making calls, come back later, whatever it is, but make sure that you respect your own productive time. Because if you don't, no one else will. So that means other than people being distracting, don't check your emails. Don't check your text messages, your social media during this time. Make sure that you're going to dedicate this time and dedicate that location for you to get super, super busy. Now, if you could just do this, guys, I'm telling you, this is going to be a real big game changer for you. I know a lot of people will say, I want to do this and I want to do that and I'm going to get there. But guess what? Your week becomes so busy with just busy, non-productive stuff. You're like, holy shit, another week went by and I didn't do this, stuff that I wanted to accomplish. I've got these goals and I got these dreams that I want to make reality, but I never have the time. And that's the reason why is because you don't respect your time. You give yourself that time, I guarantee that you're going to make all those things come to fruition a lot sooner than you would if you just wished it. Actually taking these steps and actually doing it is going to make a big difference. Here at our office, I created 8 private little reservable offices that you can lock yourself into and no one will ever even know you're there. And just reserve it for the day. And that's exactly why I did that, because I know that this principle is really important. I know for me, when I used to prospect, I just closed my door. People knew the door is closed. Like, I'm busy. I open it. You can come in and talk to me. But respect your time, and that's going to make a huge difference. So number 2 is find a quiet place to work from or a private place to work from. And that means you can go to a park in the summer. You can go to a Starbucks, a Panera, anywhere they'll have you, even libraries sometimes, as long as you don't got to make any calls. So just get creative, and it can actually be really fun. You can work from different locations off-site, and you get to network with people. You get to meet new people, when you leave the office, because it's pretty hard to sell a house to another real estate agent. But if you're working from somewhere else for a few hours, more likely to run into someone who you might be able to pick up as a client. All right, now number 3 would be automation. Automation is important, guys, because and also delegation. So number 3 is automation and delegation. The reason why this is so important is because you're only going to be able to do so much. You're only limited to a certain amount of hours per day. We're all given 24 hours. So with automation, you can make so many more things happen. This is the power of leverage and technology, guys. You can start to streamline every single process. If you catch yourself doing something more than a few times, that process can be automated. If you catch yourself training admins over and over, if you find yourself training salespeople over and over again, all this stuff can be automated. There's ways of getting all this stuff done where you don't have to keep doing the same thing over and over again. You can accomplish a lot more with the same amount of time in the day. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about is delegation. This is one of the things that a lot of people struggle with. I struggle with it as well because I'm a super control freak. I think I can do everything better than people. But I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of things that you're probably doing and that I used to do that were not making me money. And I just wanted to do it because I just hated the fact that I'd have to train someone and then probably mess up a couple of times, and it just seemed like the end of the world for me. But guess what, guys? It's not. The more you can give that person confidence, the better they're gonna perform. If you're always micromanaging these people, they're not gonna feel comfortable. They want to make sure that they want to feel like they have some sort of control. They have some sort of how would I say, like an important job where it's their role. So let go of a lot of stuff. The paperwork, let go of it. If it's not making you a certain amount of money for doing it, let go of it. Find out what it is during the day that you do that is making you the most money, and only do that. Get rid of the other 80% of stuff. Give it to someone else and make sure that they do it. Even if they don't perform at as high a level as you did with it, but as long as it wasn't making you money, it's just a move in the right direction. So I tell that to new agents. I tell that to experienced people. I tell it to people in every industry. Like, dude, what do you do during the day when because they're complaining they've hit this plateau? What are you doing during the day? What is it to consumes you. And for a lot of people, it's email. And for a lot of people, it's just daily little stupid things. And the problem with that is that, you always feel like you have to be involved, but there's ways of getting around it. With email, you don't have to check email all throughout the day. You can check it at the end of the day. No one's going to die. If somebody needs you that bad, they'll call you. If you really get to the point where it's getting out of hand, hiring an administrator is the best thing you could do. Like, get them to check your emails and take care of all those tasks that come along with emails. Every email that you get is probably going to ask something of you. So once you start investing and delegating, your income and your business is going to skyrocket. It's going to grow tremendously. So that's my number 3. Leverage through automation and through delegation. If you guys don't really know how to automate stuff or how to delegate, obviously everyone knows how to delegate, but if you want more information on automating your real estate business, send me a private message or just leave a comment down below. I'll teach you a couple things or refer you to a couple of videos that we've done in the past. We can make everything automated, from marketing to processing your contracts. Everything you can make automated, guys. As long as you've done it more than once, it could be automated. Okay, next thing I want to talk to you guys about is networking, masterminds, seminars, getting out there and just training yourself and learning new things. This is something that a lot of people don't do because they feel like they've already learned it, that they're at the top of their game. And it could be more incorrect when it comes to that, because there's always more to learn. The moment you stop learning, that's when you start dying. That's when you start fading away and you're not relative anymore. If you take the time to maybe start learning about what's around the corner in your industry, no matter what you're in, you could be in mortgages, you could be in real estate, you could be in auto sales, whatever it is that you're in, there's always something around the corner. Now with marketing, things are always adapting. Facebook's always changing. You got Google AdWords. There's so many different things that are changing constantly that if you're not going out there and surrounding yourself with the experts in those arenas, you're never gonna grow from where you are. You also have to surround yourself with people who are stronger than you, people who have made more money than you, and people who are further along than you. You can only do that by going to places where these people hang out. Now, some people think that going to a seminar is an expensive thing. Sometimes it is, and you might really dig deep to get there. But I guarantee you, the people who are paying that much to go to a seminar are people that you want to surround yourself with. That network of the kind of people you want to have. People who shell out 10 grand for a seminar, those are the type of people you want to have in your phone book. The more you surround yourself around these people, and you start to connect with them more on a daily basis or an ongoing basis, you're going to start doing similar things to them. And they're going to start rubbing off on you. Just like if you go to the gym with someone who's bench pressing 300 pounds and you're only, barely putting up 2 plates, before you know it, your bench press is going to go up. It's the same thing in business, guys. You got to surround yourself with people who are crushing it. That's what I've been doing recently. I've just been going to more seminars, going places where people are doing huge things, and I'm learning a lot. I'm learning things that I'm really gonna. I feel like I'm going to change the game in real estate when I start adapting these things to what we do. So I really recommend you guys always training your brain, even when you think you're too busy for it. That's when you really need to go the most, because if you're too busy, that means that you're doing too much busy stuff. You need to figure out how these guys are managing Fortune 500 companies and how do they do it, because there's always a bigger fish, guys. And if you feel like you've got too much on your plate, imagine none. So definitely always push yourself and get yourself around some people who are already crushing it. Oh, Harry bench pressed 405 pounds today. So that's good, Harry. We need to work out with Harry so we could.
Definitely, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, so that's number 4, guys. So always be training yourself, training your brain, reading on the topic you're passionate about. If learning more about self-development or learning more about how to become wealthy, that's what you want to learn about. Figure out where the groups are, figure out what the books are, figure out who the people are in that space that you need to be around, and get there as often as possible. For me, recently, I wanted to improve on my speaking abilities, so I'm doing a lot more coaching with people who have been speaking and people like at the 10X conference, with that one gentleman, Peter Vargas, who's an amazing presenter. Like I'm going to be taking his course as well, just because I know that you can always improve. There's always a better way. And, even when you think you're at the top of your game, you could be knocked off pretty easily. So that's something that you guys all should, definitely strive to do. Lastly, the last thing that I'm pretty sure is one of the most important things for you guys to start to understand is that the reason why you're in business, it can't be solely for money. It can't be solely for recognition. It can't be solely to build a brand. In order to be in business, guys, you have to have a greater good for the world, for the people around you, for your family, for just people who can't do for themselves. So one of the things you need to do is make your purpose a purpose that's bigger than yourself. Once you start to create a purpose that's bigger than yourself, such as maybe giving back to the community, or serving a charity, or serving your church, or whatever it is that you feel can be a byproduct of your success, make sure that people understand that. Make sure that you are very vocal about that. One of the things that I'm implementing for this year, which I was just reminded of at this last both seminars that I went to, is the fact that when your cause is strong enough and your mission is strong enough, people will come on board, people will follow you, people will work with you because they feel that your mission is good. Now, for us, we've always been big on charity and we've been big on community service, but we're going to step it up a notch. What we're going to do now, I'm making a pledge, and you guys could be some of the first people to witness this. I'm making a personal pledge that 10% of all the profits that Culture Estate will make from this year going forward will be donated to an organization called Underground Railroad. Underground Railroad is a charity that what they do is they free children from sexual slavery. So this is a real thing, and I really didn't even know it existed up until a few months ago, that children around the world are still actually enslaved, and it's worse now than it's ever been in the history of our humanity. And I just don't know how, like Tony Robbins said, I don't know how one human being can do that to another human being, especially a child, but it's a real thing. But the beauty of it is that for every $2,500 that we can raise to aid that organization, they free a child from slavery. So this is something that I'm super passionate about. I love children, and I just love their innocence. But to know that there's children out there in the world who are suffering like that, it really makes me feel like, wow, now I have like a new purpose, a new mission, something that's revived me in a business sense, because now I know that the better that I can do and the better that the company can do, the greater good we could do for the world. So the moment you start to feel that there is a bigger purpose for you and a bigger purpose for your mission, then you really start to see that, wow, I'm not really doing this for me. I'm not really doing this for just, glorifying a brand that I'm trying to build. We're doing this for to make an impact on the world. And once you can figure that out, that you're doing something that's actually, bigger than you and bigger than anything you'll ever be able to do alone, then that's the moment where you really start to understand that business is not just about you. It's about how much of an impact can you leave on this world. So that's number 5, guys. Make sure that your cause and the reason why you're in business is big enough where it wakes you up in the morning. It's big enough where it's going to allow you to get hung up on people, doors slammed in your face, people cursing you out, having bad days, having office drama. Just make sure that your mission is big enough that it'll take you through those rainy days and to those bad days, because you're gonna have to dig deep sometimes. And if your mission is so big that you can't ever say no to it, then you know that you'll survive no matter what. No matter if we have a recession, no matter if we get replaced by robots, we'll find something else to do. There'll always be a way that you'll make it, as long as you know that your cause is big enough. People will back you 100% if they know your mission is big enough. So that's number 5. So let's go ahead and recap for our top 5 things that you should be doing in 2019 to crush it. Number 1 is your daily sales meeting or accountability meeting. Number 2 is look for a quiet place to work from, or make sure that people are respecting your time so you're not getting disturbed when you're trying to be productive. Number 3 is going to be automation and delegation. Make sure that you're not repeating things over and over again. Make sure that you're able to make this automated process, and then you have other people helping you on things that are not making you money. Make sure that you're around people who are going to push you, and the easiest way to do that is through trainings, through seminars, through masterminds, just getting out there and networking with people who are going to be definitely a good influence on you. If you don't have mentors, this is a great place to go and start finding the right mentors. So always go to places where you feel that you're going to run into people who have already made it in the industry you want to be in. And then lastly, it's your cause, your mission, you know, what you're going to change in the world, what you're doing through your hard work and your business. That's not all about me. What is it that you're really going to drive you, and what commitment are you going to make to the world? You know, obviously you don't have to do what I'm doing, guys. It could be as easy as like, look, I'm going to free up so much time that I'm going to be able to volunteer, you know, a few hours a week or a month, you know, to a cause. You know, it could be whatever you want. You don't have to be, you know, solely one thing. And, you know, being more involved in your family's life could be a good thing. You know, giving, you know, allowing your maybe mother and father to retire, you know, that could be something that could fuel your mission. Just make sure that your mission includes others and not just yourself. And that's when things are going to start to change for you. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. I think I got a couple comments on here. Your growth is inspirational and it comes from the training at Culture. Hats off to you. Thank you, Harry. You're an inspiration too to a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know that people have watched you from day one, and I think that it's not coincidental that we're all under the same roof. You know, we definitely push each other. We grow from each other, brother. So thank you so much for that comment. Alejandro, what do you think, bro?
I think I have a question.
Yeah.
Like when we went to the seminar, like I was researching myself, and I noticed that I put my own brakes. Like it's like I stopped myself from growing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, I get busy like with a few deals and stuff like that, and I feel like it's so much paperwork and it's like not so much time. So I stopped calling.
Yeah.
And I start prospecting.
Yeah.
What do you suggest, like when you used to find your way, like back then,
mm-hmm.
when you used to find yourself busy and you'll be like, oh no, you know.
Yeah.
How you kind of stop that, like?
Correct. Yeah, so that's important. And this is the reason why the sales meetings are important, because everybody does the right thing in the beginning. So everyone makes, you know, their calls when they first become an agent. Everybody has all the time in the world to be productive. But yes, it's the Underground Railroad, Nicola. They are awesome. But like I was saying to you, Alejandro, if you're a new agent, it's easy to keep on track and do the right things. But it's the moment when you start to get business that you start to fall off track. So the most important thing, Alejandro, is that you do one of two things, right? You could sweat it out for a while without having to, you know, hire someone, but you always have to know that between the hours of X and the hours of X, you're always going to do the productive work, right? And then afterwards, you can process your deals, you can, you know, track all your closings, all those things, but there's always time in the day. The problem is that people start to prioritize busy work and then mistake busy work for productive work. You know, sometimes you go home at the end of the day like, oh my God, I was so busy today. I was so busy. But then you look back and like, wait, what new deals did I have? What new clients did I speak to? Nothing. So if you can be disciplined where you create your calendar where between 9 and 12, you do all the good productive stuff, all the things that's going to bring you new business. And then afterwards you deal with that. That'll be good for you for a good amount of time. You won't have to like spend money on an administrator for a while, but then it's going to come to a point where you're falling behind on all your other stuff because you're trying to balance it, right? So then what you think to do is, okay, well, I make X amount of money per hour, 9 to 12 when I do productive work. What if now, instead of 9 to 12, what if I do 9 to 5, I do productive work? How much more money can I make, right? And then you start thinking, wow, I can make so much more money. Let me just hire someone. So that's when you start to make the distinction between the two. So I think the best way to do it is have accountability in the morning and to make sure that every day you do that productive stuff first, and then the other stuff comes after, right? The minute, and what you also need to do too is, one of my agents, what they do is they have an accountability chart for themselves, and they have like things they have to do every week, right? Analyze yourself at the end of that week, and if at the end of that week you see that you didn't do a lot of the productive stuff, that's when you need to check yourself for the upcoming week. Like, okay, well, this week I'm going to change this about what I did. And when it comes to a point where there is no possible way for you to manage it to, that's when you need an administrator. That's when you push yourself. And believe me, guys, God will provide. You hire someone, somehow you're going to find a way to pay that person. You're going to get busier, you're going to do more business, and you're going to get, you know, more clients coming through just because you're opening up more time for yourself. Did I answer your question? Because I know that is a big problem with a lot of agents. They do what they're supposed to do in the beginning, but then the minute they get a new deal, they start to babysit that deal during the hours that you keep getting more business.
Yeah,
so,
that's basically the question. Like, I noticed that I put the brake on myself.
Yeah, you do.
I want to stop doing. I want to stop doing. I don't want to be scared to go on business 10x or 100x or 1000x.
Lynn is here.
Hey, you live?
We're live. Say hi, man.
No, my fans are there.
Lynn, what do you do to be so productive? What do you do to be so successful?
First thing, mojo.
Mojo, yeah, see,
All the
productive stuff.
time.
The productive stuff comes first.
Call.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Alejandro. Thank you, Lynn, for that last minute piece of advice. And thank you, everyone, for watching. And we'll be back next week with another Realtor Roundtable. Monday, we will have our mastermind training at 9 to 12. So if you're able to make it, great. If not, please tune in. We will be having a session, I think, in between trainings, because we are still doing a Grant Cardone training. So we're going to take breaks in between and give you guys some good nuggets of information. And for any agent here that is watching this from the office, I believe Wednesday this evening we're having our dialogue training with Tom the trainer at 6 p.m. So please let us know if you're going to make it. If not, that's fine. You guys can always come in the next week. So thank you guys again for watching. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.